Happy New Year. It's Joycelyn Wells with Joy Exposed, and it's 9 o'clock. So, Wednesday, January 1st, it's our first episode of the new year, and here we are. I hope you've had a great holiday season. I hope your New Year's was lots of fun, and I hope you're celebrating with your three cheers of joy. So, as I am. So, tonight I'm having um, Prosecco by Cupcake Sellers. And, I love the bubbly. I do drink it probably. I do celebrate a little bit more than I should, I guess. I don't know. But this is what my celebratory drink tonight. That and I have a tiny shot of tequila, Corzo tequila, in a custom shot glass by Valerie Tucker Williams. It says joy on one side, live, love, enjoy on the other, hashtag. So Valerie made these for me along with the pimp glass I had a little while ago. So tonight I'm celebrating my three cheers of joy. So happy new year, and here we go. So first thing I have to say is I'm very grateful that the new year day, today, New Year's Eve, yesterday, they weren't as emotional as my Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So, woohoo! If you guys watched the episode from last week, you know that I really had a tough time with the idea of being grown up with my adult children and children making their children making decisions to do something on their own. My children being old enough to make decisions on their own. So I struggled with that, trying to figure out what the holidays are supposed to look like without squeezing them into a little box, right? So I had a great New Year's Eve. The all day was great. All day today was great. And I must have partied way more than I thought I did last night because I've literally been chilling all day. So cheers, of course, first cheer of joy to an awesome New Year's Eve and a welcoming 2020. So cheers to that. That's my first cheer of joy. The second cheer of joy is guess who made dinner today? I mean, not the traditional black eyed peas and collard greens, not that kind of thing. I've never really been in that moment. Even when my mom did, it didn't matter to me that she did it or not. She had her reasons and customs, and I understand the ideals are steeped in tradition. But yeah, well, I just made, first of all, I cooked some sausage for breakfast. Damn, I cooked twice today. I cooked sausage this morning for breakfast. We had my grandbaby. Was on Grammy duty. And then we had chicken nuggets from McDonald's later in the day. And then tonight I cooked some yellow rice and some chicken, sausage, and meatballs just because I couldn't get my Instacart to deliver it till tomorrow. So I had to figure out something to cook in the house or order out again. And we went and had an amazing dinner last night. So, and that's expensive. If you guys know you eat out all the time, that gets really expensive. So I was trying to avoid that. So cheers to, you guys know how much I eschew cooking. Cheers to cooking. So cheers to that. I don't even know which one I'm going to drink. Let's do the champagne to that. So second cheer of joy. I made dinner today. My third cheer of joy is that I had the opportunity to spend it with my grandbaby, to spend the day with my grandbaby. My daughter worked, my son-in-law worked, so Ariel got to hang out with Grammy today. Now, you guys know I'm really active. I do a lot of stuff all the time, so we had her little butt up early and moving it this morning, and we came in from the playground and our little walk, and she ate some chicken nuggets, and next thing you know, she was laying on the floor like, I'm tired, and that was it. She had to go take a nap. So I was really pleased about having the opportunity to spend time with her, and it pushes me to a new level of understanding that I am kind of complacent in my alone time, in my grown-up shit. So when I have to be with my grandbaby, or when I'm with my grandbaby and having to chat with her and listen to her questions and make her connections to information, it makes me realize how grateful I am to have the opportunity to do that. So my third cheer of joy. So the first cheer of joy was, let me drink to that. cheers to that. The first was 2020. Happy New Year was better than Christmas Day. And the second cheer of joy was I cooked. And the third cheer of joy is I hung out with my grandbaby. So that's my 3 celebrations for today. So, welcome to 2020. It's going to be great, right? Everybody's going to do new stuff. You getting rid of people, all this great stuff. You're going to be different. You're going to be better. And, you're going to be better, so good for you. And so good. But what I didn't notice today, I was just thrown off by a comment on the, Chris said I had hamburger helper. I don't even know what that is, I don't think. But no, I didn't make hamburger helper. So that just kind of threw me off. Anyway, so I haven't seen anybody making any resolutions. No one's been saying what they're going to do different. More of protecting their space and kind of self-preservation, which is kind of cool because that says a lot of people are now aware that you have to really keep yourself space and, keep moving around people, like keep the negative out and people from dictating how you move, which brings me to my new series started airing today on YouTube, 6:00 this morning. It's called Healthy Me, Healthy You, 10 days closer to, and you'll see with each ad, it's a countdown as you get closer to the healthy you, healthy me, healthy you, right? So there's a countdown. Today we talked about forgiveness. We've talked about that before. Joy exposed. And then tomorrow is forgiving self. So kind of the flip side of it, like you forgive people for treating you like crap. And then how do you forgive yourself when you treat yourself like crap? And we tend to look over that part. We tend to think that nobody knows or it's okay, and we don't get through the thought process of it, and we don't forgive ourselves for being mistreating us and throwing us off track. So that's what we'll talk about tomorrow. So that's kind of cool. I'm really excited about it. I haven't done each Joy Exposed. I upload to YouTube after I do it, but I haven't put out a series in like 2 years, maybe 3 years. I did one called Love, Passion, Happiness. That's when I talked about depression and loving and, nooks and crannies and making the most out of situations. So I talked about that. And that's been a couple years ago, but I did that one every week. This one I'm doing 10 episodes, 10 in a row. So the first one was today. Tomorrow is number 2, then number 3. So we're going to go all the way through January 10th, and we're going to do just about 9 or 10 minutes of things that are important, that I believe to be important to me and to people, kind of keeping us in track. So very excited about that. So, and for you who subscribed, I appreciate you subscribing to the YouTube channel. And if you have been watching, if you've watched the video today, I really appreciate that. I've gotten some great comments on it. I've gotten people to contact me and ask me questions about my thought process on it. And I even had someone inquire if I were okay. They kind of thought that maybe I was going through something, or that maybe I needed some help with something. And I just kind of explained that I'm fine. I just wanted to share my ideas of what forgiveness meant and how to forgive, and kind of the misconception of what it means to forgive to me, right? I wanted to just share it with others to see if maybe it could help them, because I know that a lot of us struggle with the idea of forgiving somebody for treating us like crap. So, so that was, it's pretty good. I had my Faceless Love watched it, and I asked him, and he said it was good. He always says something is good. If I ask him about it, he's like, babe, it's good. It's good information. And he listens to every podcast, whatever I put on YouTube. He's reading what I'm writing, and I just go to him for reassurance. Like, what do you think? What do you think? How's it look? How's it sound? Da, 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 da. So I'm constantly going to him on that, and I trust that he is being honest when he tells me, right, that he thought it was good information, or if he asks questions about stuff, some stuff he's like, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. But otherwise, it's good. So, he watched it, and I think I had more than, thank you so much, Stephanie. Stephanie said it was great. Hi, Kimberly. So I think that I have almost 60, 70 views on it, and I got some new subscribers today. So, and if you don't, I know a lot of us do our own thing, have our own business. We're trying to make that thing work. But man, if you don't know how, process of forget, if you don't, it's so much that goes into trying to make your business work, like trying to figure out how to use it. Like, so this is a big deal to me. Every time I figure something else out or I step into a new arena, it definitely throws me off. So thank you guys so much. So let's talk about, let me see, I don't even know if I have a Facebook post of the week. I didn't really spend any time selecting anything. I did have an awfully good time last night. I've met some really cool people. We went to Faceless Love, and I went to dinner at this steakhouse called the Cattle House. Cattle. It's a big deal in Lakeland. It's a steakhouse. We went there for dinner, and that was kind of cool. The weather was nice here, and we were able to sit outside on their lanai and have dinner. So we had a good time there. We had yummy steaks. Oh, Texas Cattle Company. That's what it's called. Texas Cattle Company. So we went there, and that was pretty good. And then we left there, and we crashed somebody's wedding. Somebody was getting married on the lake, and we walked through there and kind of eyed some of their things. And then we walked on to the square and went to the Lakeland Loft, where we were going to go have cigars and cocktails and bring in the New Year there, because they had a New Year's Eve party. Just, really just a good crowd of people, and it felt good. We managed to secure 2 amazing seats right outside on the balcony. So we sat out on the balcony and we met people out there. And, it's so funny because when you go out with no intention of meeting people, and you start meeting people and you listen to their stories, and you can see where they are in their walk, and they're just trying to figure it out. And I had the opportunity to meet 2 ladies last night, and a couple men too, but the ladies, we were the ones that were talking mostly. And that was really good just to see them. And one lady said she had been married for 25 years and she was getting a divorce. And you could kind of see in her energy that she was, trying to get out there. It's really a unique kind of experience, because you think about this energy, it's like being bottled up for so long, and then all of a sudden you're just ready to explode. And you could see that in her energy. So that was really cool. And then there was another lady who was Dominican, and she travels a lot by herself. So she and I talked for a bit, and you could tell that she traveled a lot because she was open to accents and regions of where people were from, and just meeting people. And that was very cool. And they were, I think one was Dominican and the other one may have been Mexican. But we kind of sat and talked for most of the evening. We exchanged information. So I enjoyed that a lot. And Faceless Love was there, and we talked and smoked cigars and laughed, and we just did our regular things. We have a great time. And so when we were leaving, I was like, one thing I've said before is that he and I we walk a lot. Like, we can leave the house and be gone all day walking. Like, we can 23,000 steps a day. Like, we just go. That's kind of a part of our relationship that I think we both figured out works for us, right? That, and I used to I would get dressed and put on heels. And then I realized that kind of me having heels on kind of got in the way of our movements. And I started, then I'd still put on a dress, but I'd wear sneakers. I kind of started investing a little more in my sneakers, make sure my feet were being taken care of, because I never really walked socially that much. I could go exercise and be done with it, but just to go and walk all day. So we had to really, we have a really good time doing that. So we left the house going for New Year's Eve walking. And then once we got ready to leave, we had both been drinking and we were a little tipsy. And I'm like, we walking back? And he was like, nah, let's get an Uber. So I was like, okay. So we were trying to figure out what we were going to eat, thinking we was going to try to go to Crystal's. Neither one of us had gone to Crystal's in years. So we were like, we're going to go to Crystal. We're going to get an Uber. We'll go to Crystal, go home. Well, I pull up the Uber app and there are no cars available. This was like 2 a.m. We couldn't get an Uber and we couldn't get a Lyft. And we ended up walking back like over this. And then, but when you look back on it, it's crazy because we're like toasted because we've been New Year's drinking champagne and he was drinking bourbon. I had some tequila and we walk back. We come like back behind. So you have to, from Lakeland to know, but you come down by the lake and then you walk over this hill, over the railroad tracks, which is between the Amtrak station and the police department. So we were literally walking in the complete darkness because it's not houses and stuff back there. It's nothing. So we walked back there. And then at some point we decided we would Grubhub Steak and Shake because we knew once we got to the house we wouldn't be walking to find any food. So we Grubhub Steak and Shake and they got here like 15 minutes after us. I swear I ate my burger with my eyes closed. Like I could barely even remember eating it. And then we both crashed out. So it was just kind of fun because he and I have such a good time together. Like there's no one's gonna be mad. Like there's not I'm not walking home and it's like this whining thing and it's complaining or I'm not doing that. And it's never that. It's just like, let's do it. And I used to think that he was teasing me or he wasn't serious when he used to always tell me, whatever you want, that kind of thing, whatever you want. And I would be like, yeah, nobody says that. It means it. And here we are, like still 3 years later. And he's like, whatever you want, so we really have a good opportunity, a good connection at this opportunity for a relationship. So I hope I don't fuck up. Y'all know that's what I say. Just don't fuck up. So I'm desperately trying to be good. Not even to be good to him, be good to me. Like, how do I be my best self so that I can be good to try to be in a relationship? Because I haven't been in a relationship in a while before this one. So, I've been in some that failed. So that kind of makes you stutter step. Like, maybe I'm not doing this shit right. Maybe I need to reevaluate what I think. So, but yeah, so this is our second New Year's bringing it together. Last year we went to a private party in Atlanta. And then, we were in Lakeland this time. So it was kind of fun. I had a good time. He is hella fun. I call him fun on the brain because man, we have a good time. Just the freedom of it. And this may be regular shit for everybody. This wasn't regular for me. This isn't regular for me. This is a big deal. And today we had Ariel, we hung out, and then she went to sleep, I went to sleep, he went to sleep. She got up, I got up, my daughter came home, kind of laid around just all day, just kind of chilling. I must have been really tired or very tipsy. And then I started drinking champagne we actually walked to the store today with Ariel and we got a couple bottles of champagne. That's how I ended up drinking it tonight. So when we got back and I started drinking champagne maybe about 3. Just little glasses and just sipping. I laid around some more. I slept some more. Then I decided I should probably cook something. That's that. But anyway, so Happy New Year. And I am here. Here. So let's see what we have for you know what? I don't have I want to talk about that too. This isn't a Facebook post of the week. Let me see. Yeah, no, I don't think I have a Facebook post of the week, but a couple things happened that I did not expect to happen. Let's see, maybe this is it. So today is Wednesday. So on Tuesday, on New Year's Eve, we got up and we went walking on New Year's Eve. Was that New Year's Eve or Monday when we went to I think it was Monday. Oh yeah. It was Monday. We went walking to Andrew Lloyd Wright. He's in architecture. Is his name Andrew? That's not his name. Frank Lloyd Wright. I always confuse him with Andrew Lloyd Webber because they have 3 names. Frank Lloyd Wright is an architect. He was an architect. He's dead now. But he built like a whole college here in Lakeland. Beautiful campus. Now, I heard of it because, I'm like I always say, I'm always learning something. So I knew that he had buildings in this area, but I didn't spend any time there looking. It's called Florida Southern College. So Monday, we decided to get up to go walking, and I suggested we're going to go by the library and work for a couple hours because I had work to do. So we both went to sit up and we worked for like 2 hours, and then we walked over to the campus and did a tour of his buildings. Oh my good Lord, the details in these buildings. So I'm just telling you guys this to say, even in your cities, the stuff that you see all the time. Just a second. This is Cupcake Cellars Prosecco, Kimberly. So it's my Cupcake Cellars. It's a Prosecco. Even the stuff that you see in your cities all the time, if you spend some time kind of going and exploring the history of it, what an amazing date. And I'm an egghead, y'all. I say that, y'all know that I'm an egghead. So when I suggested that we go to Faceless Love, he was like, all right, like whatever you want. And we went and we walked building to building and read the tutorials and went inside and explored this. And man, we had a good time. And I would suggest that any person watching this, if you're remotely dating somebody or you enjoy spending time with somebody, find a walking tour that you can do in the area in which you live, and you will have a good time. Because you never think about, I think one of the things I kept thinking is he believed his shit so much. He built a whole college with just his stuff. And I'm struggling, trying to not believing in myself as a writer, but getting other people to believe in me as a writer and buying my books and listening to my words and growing from my words. I struggle with that. But what I figured is that it's less about what other people think about your craft than what you think about your craft. And I was literally walking around the campus thinking, this man was so sure of what he was doing, and he was so passionate about it that he literally built a campus with just his buildings on it. And man, we went into some chapels, and I stood at the pulpit in these chapels, and the acoustics were so great. And I speak loudly anyway, and part of that is because I don't hear well, but I speak loudly anyway. So I was standing at the pulpit, and I'm like, good afternoon, this is Joycelyn Wells, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it sounds so clear, like I was talking through a microphone. It was, man. So anyway, that's at Florida Southern College. It's in Lakeland, Florida. And it was Frank Lloyd Wright's buildings. And, he did it's just so much in there. But anyway, I'll post a couple pictures actually, so you can kind of see, and you can Google it. But I already know one book, a coffee table book that I want to buy, and it's about his chapels, because they are divine, right? They are absolutely divine. So anywhere that you are, I know one of the places I want to visit, and I see my brother on here, is Berry College in Rome, Georgia. I know that I've always wanted to visit Berry. I did some research on that a few years ago, but just to go and walk the campus and get some history of why it is and the buildings, man, I would love to do that too. So, but anyway, that was just kind of something that we did that was off the cuff, which was fun. So I do have podcasts available. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and these are uploaded on YouTube every week. So yeah, that is available. Thank you very much for reminding me to say that. It's from my cousin, Greg. Thank you. All right. So I really don't, I guess my, I can't decide if I'm gonna talk about that or not. Okay. So someone posted a picture of them in my book and they were saying, you should read this book. It's hot. And then someone in that posted current situation. Marisa posted current situation in the book. And she had my book up on her iPad. And I felt so good because I was like, oh my God, there's two people right now in this moment that have my book at their fingertips and they're reading it and they're talking about it so good. So I felt really pleased with that. Those types of things warm my heart. And it just makes me feel so good to know that people are reading and they're enjoying. And so I just put out the third virtues about 2 months ago, not even 2 months ago, maybe a month ago, if that. So the third set of virtues are out. And I was literally saying, and I have to go back and read them because remember, I told you guys when I'm writing this stuff, I'm writing them, I go back and read them, and then I go to the editor, I come back, I'll read them again, I read them out loud, I'm trying to get them ready for Audible. I go through and do all of this, but I'm still so overwhelmed by my words because I can't believe that, oh my God, I was thinking in that space, and to be able to achieve that level of eroticism every time it gets me, because I could be reading something and be like, oh, these smoking hot, like, oh my gosh. So I'm really pleased that that exists in me, and to know that that amount of passion, like I've been able to connect with that level of passion within myself, and not just the sexual passion, but about living, about life. And I talked about this a while ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And at the bottom was like food, sex, and I would have to look at it to go into the details. But I feel like I've always wanted to achieve that level of self-actualization where I could kind of ebb and flow effortlessly and just kind of see where people are and see myself in relation to them without existing at the bottom rung, right? I never wanted to be the bottom. I never wanted to just exist. That's never been my personality. It's still not. Like, I don't want to be a writer. I want to be the best writer. I want to grow and develop, and like I have to sometimes scale back my thoughts about what's going to happen. And that's one of the things that Faceless Love is good for me, because I'm like, I feel like if I have an event, I'm walking into a Coliseum with like 80,000 people. That's what I see. And because I can see it means it's coming. I'm just not there yet. I have to keep working to get to that, because I'm given the gift, the vision to see it. That means it's in the scope of what I can do. So that pleases me, but I come up with these grandiose ideas, and it's almost like that's what I'm working for. And, people have a hard time understanding that, but I'm working. I want greatness. I'm like, I doubt very seriously that God chose me to be here to be regular or to be mediocre, especially when it comes to giving his gift, delivering the gift that he's given me to the masses. If he's given me something and I've got to share it, then I'm sure he doesn't want me to be like, oh, just be regular about it. He wants me to be great. And it's, as long as I can see these amazing ideas, and a lot of stuff I can't see, but when I can see these amazing ideas, it just means it's coming. I have to keep moving. That means if I'm moving in the direction I'm supposed to be doing and doing what I'm supposed to do, and I see this grandiose things, that means I'm moving in the right direction. That means it, right? It's like, welcome to California. You know, California, 6,251 miles away. But as long as I'm going in the direction, I'm going to see California, right? So that's how I kind of think of it. And I work really hard to do that. So when I was talking about the passion of existing, like, and people would, a lot of people, even my dad and I had a conversation. One of his concerns was he was concerned that men would look at me on my podcast and with my shoulders out, and they're looking at me sexually. So his is like, well, he had problems with it. And I was like, Dad, I understand that, but I'm 50. So if somebody's been looking at me sexually since I was a 12, 13, that's not new for me. What's new for me is that I don't exist in a basic existence of me. I determine how somebody makes use of me. It doesn't matter to me. I determine if somebody can make ill use of me or not. If that's what their intention is, that's on them. But whether it goes through or not, that's on me. So he and I had to have this whole conversation about it, because I'm like, I'm not impressed by some of the crap that people say, or what they're trying to offer, or what they want to do, and that they want to do this, and hey, beautiful. And I'm like, that's not impressive to me. So, but I had to get to a place of understanding that I existed above, at a different level, right, than that basic level of sex. And a lot of people do exist in that, right? Their greed, their sex, they can't get beyond whatever that poor spontaneous impulse that they're thriving on, they're yet to grow. And I have been fortunate enough to get beyond that. So that makes me very happy. And I remember talking to people before, to men before, and they're asking questions. And men, even, it doesn't matter what your conversation is about with a man, it could be about the weather, and it's probably 2 sentences, 2 questions, they're going to turn it to something sexual. For women, when you're younger and seeking, you kind of go along with that line of conversation because you feel like this could be a good man. His words are already telling you that his intention is something sexual with you. Very basic, right? Very basic. So, but you have to get through that, to grow through that, to understand it. But I remember telling a man one time, okay, well, that sounds good, but I know for sure that you aren't prepared to go where I'm prepared to go sexually. Like, you aren't even equipped to go where, I get out. I'm like, no, mentally, emotionally, you aren't in a place of comfort enough with yourself to surrender in that space, to trust that you're okay in that space. But that was me growing. I mean, that was like, literally, I talk about growing all the time, and I can't even, it's a big deal, because the more you know, the more you grow. I love that. I think I'm going to start using that as a tagline somewhere, because I believe it. And so, people want to think that, I'll fuck you good, or I can do this. You're like, whatever, and save that shit. Save that shit for somebody who's in a space of understanding that sounds good. It doesn't sound good, and it will be empty, whether it's pleasurable in that 15, 20 minutes or not. Once it's over, and there's nothing that you can take beyond that. And I'll talk about a little bit of that tomorrow in my Forgiving Self video. How do you get beyond your basic carnal desires? Your basic desire, even if maybe it's not carnal, maybe it's gambling. Maybe it's collecting weird shit. Like, who knows? People have so many vices, but for eating, gluttony, right? We have so many vices, but because of the flesh provides this immediate gratification, we tend to go with the flesh first. We tend to delve into that. And so that was my issue, the flesh. And it wasn't even an issue like it was, it was bad. I can't even say it wasn't an issue, because I was thinking that I was getting something comfort from having sex because I was seeking intimacy, or I was seeking something lasting beyond that. And I wasn't. It wasn't anything that was coming. You know, it's really temporary. And you have to think about, what do you do to you have to think about, what do you do to get beyond the moments of the flesh? And I mean, hell, I love it. Hands down, I love to make love. Love it. I love to, as much stuff as I've learned or read about or thought about, I love all of it. But when that, me having ideas of what greatness is, and then settling for somebody's mediocrity, isn't helping me experience the level of greatness that I see, right? So we have to really just kind of keep an eye out for that kind of thing. So, it was just a little something I wanted to share about seeing my book on the timeline. I guess that would be my Facebook post of the week, was seeing my book and then somebody else commenting with my book. So I was really pleased about that. So 2 things I'm going to talk about. It's 9:36 already. So the first thing is, oh, I got to sneeze. Hold on just a second. Excuse me. All right. Thank you. So the first thing is, I got a message from somebody today asking me if I was naked in one of my pictures. Right. So I was like, what? And they were like, this picture where you're naked. And I was like, oh, I might have been. And they were like, you might have been. You don't know. I'm like, well, I'm comfortable with myself as I am. So I don't make a pointed effort to be like, oh, I was naked this day or naked. I can be naked every day. And I said, the reason I take the pictures and the selfies, whether I have on a halter top or I don't have on any clothes at all, I take them. I said, because my audience understands that my show, Joy Exposed, what I offer, transparency and honesty. And I say, when joy is exposed, everything just feels better. That I like to present myself in this transparent space, right? I don't want for people to think I'm saying you unveil yourself or you be comfortable in your natural self when I'm not comfortable in my own. So I'm very comfortable that way. And it took a lot for me to get to that, to not look at other people and think I wish that I was more beautiful, or I wish that I looked like them, or I wish that I had their hair, or I wish that I had their oomph, and I spent years feeling inadequate. And the only reason I was feeling inadequate was I was comparing myself to something that had nothing to do with me. I go back to the same thing. I was chosen. God chose me. I'm here. So if this isn't excellence, each one of us, because we were chosen, if we aren't excellence, then what are we going to tell him? Oh, you chose me, but I'm not great. I'm not excellent. I'm not, yeah, no. So that's something I make it a point to do. I don't want to wear any makeup. I don't want to wear hair weaves. I don't want to, this is me. I wake up like this. I clean my face. I don't do anything extensive to it. I clean it and brush my teeth and use my water pick to get between my teeth to try to hang on to them. And I try to drink enough water so my eyes stay white and my skin stays firm, so just those types of things. But, I had to accept myself. And, I have people all the time like, oh, you should let me put makeup on you, or you would look so good with this, and I'm like, child, please. First of all, I'm probably going to rub my eye. So whatever that is messed up. You guys know I'm having me a good time when I put on me some darn lipstick. I think I'm doing it up. But I really just make it a point to be in my own space of understanding that I was chosen to be here on this earth, to grace this earth for the lifetime that I have. And I'm going to make the most of it. I'm not spending a single minute questioning why I was chosen. I'm spending all of my minutes seeking the answer or seeking the reason. So whatever, this is the way it is, and this is the way God works. It's the way the universe works. We all have a purpose. We all have to contribute to giving back, and paying for being here, right? What's our homage? Like, how do we get through? So that was a really interesting conversation to me. And the guy even said, well, I'm spending a lot of time, pretty much naked or nudist too. And I was like, well, good for you. I don't, there's nothing taboo to me about it. I'm like, great, and there's clubs out there for it. So we have to just make sure that we're comfortable with who we are and comfortable with protecting who we are, because we have a greater good. We have a job to do. We have a purpose. So I thought that was kind of, interesting. And people ask a lot of questions, and I'm open to the questions they ask. I'm just not open to I'm not open to somebody putting their bullshit on me. But that comes from the way that I deal with the question that's answered. If I'm open and allow it to go into this weird, yucky space, then undoubtedly it will go into the weird, yucky space, and I'm not interested in that. So anyway, that's that. Okay, so the other thing is, I kind of got caught up in a conversation today. I kind of got a piece of it, and I may have to spend some more time on this, but I know that people struggle with this all the time. So I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about it now to see if you guys have experienced this, or if you are experiencing this. So the conversation was about this woman talking about her loving this man. She was going to break up with him, but she loved him. And she knew that he didn't feel about her the way she felt about him. And she knew that he's been very clear about he would never feel that way, but she wants to be the woman that he wants, right? So she was just saying, I can't go through this year in this, and I'm going to have to take a stand. So the other ladies were saying, oh my God, I'm in the same thing right now. And what are you going to do about this? And I was reading the comments, and I thought, wow, this is a real place. Like, I've been in that real place. Like, I've been in that place, but that's a real place to be in. And people are struggling in that space of existing. And I wanted to take a couple of minutes to tell you guys, whether it's work or relationships, whatever, I wanted to talk about it from the perspective of who you are and the person you want to receive, or even if it's somebody who you're taking from and you don't want anything more than what you're getting. You're still setting the boundaries, but you're still sullying the lines of what it should be. So first of all, we have to remember that the only way that we can find peace and understanding, acceptance in a situation, is if the person or situation is capable of who we are, right? And I struggle with this in jobs, right? In jobs, though, professional relationships and personal relationships. I feel like I can be good at so many things that people have to receive what I'm giving and accommodate me, right? I feel like I can do all of it. I'm going to be so good at this that you don't have a choice but to take it. I'm going to be so good at loving you that you don't have a choice but to take it. But the truth of the matter is, there's always a choice. And it's not as easy as just saying, I'm not going to take it. What the person doesn't understand, and I didn't understand, is that the person and the situation weren't capable of me. They weren't capable of everything that I have to offer. Think about that. There's a system of energy flow in the universe that has nothing to do with us. It's just here. I don't care how you want to bottle it up. If the container or the situation isn't capable of everything that you're bringing, then it's not going to happen. So I was thinking, when I was talking to the ladies a little bit in there, saying, if you can get beyond that, first of all, forget how the person sees you. The first thing is, how do you see yourself? Because if you're great and you're trying to force yourself in somebody else's box, You're taking away from the greatness that you have and from your purpose of being here, right? So we have to pay attention to that. Everything about us has to do with the universe, not necessarily with another person. So you think of like this, when you have an ocean and lakes and streams, right? They flow into each other, and rivers. Like, you got this water flow system on the earth that some of it, when mankind comes in, man-made, and they come in and switch it up and change the flow, it messes up the ecosystem in that area. You don't have any fish growing, you don't have any plant life. It takes some time for it to build up, right? But if you think about the amount of water that's in an ocean, imagine you're the ocean and you flow into all these different places. But because you have found a river in which to flow, you want that river to receive everything that you have. That's not possible. The river is only going to do river shit. The river can't do ocean shit. But we want to make somebody take all of us. The river was designed to be a river. So as a woman who's capable of loving in a massive, I think, amazing way, I'm going to force somebody to take the loving that I have, because I think I can help them. I can help them get to another place. I can fix them. I can show them the way. All the stuff that I see, I'm already saying that I'm capable of seeing more than they can see. So what makes me think that they're going to be okay with being in a relationship with me if they can't even see the shit I see? Right? How do you think that even happens? So we have to we have all been in it. I've talked about it, my faceless love, and he's talked about it. He's been in relationships like that, where you feel like you can help somebody, or that you're helping them, and we're really not. We're not helping, and they can't do anything to accommodate the goodness. Now, the river is important. The river has its own important duty, so it's not to diminish the importance of a river. All I'm saying is the river can't accommodate the ocean. That's it. The river can't accommodate everything the ocean has as the ocean has it. So when we start thinking about being in these relationships and sharing intimately with people, and now the river will take from the ocean, flow into me a little bit. I'm going to take it. I'm going to keep taking. They'll keep taking it as you give it, but they're not going to be anything different. And they're not going to have anything necessarily to offer you other than the flow out of information, just a release of some information and a part of who you are. But that's it. You want them to turn around and give to you like you're giving to them. That's not how river works. River flow in one direction, right? It doesn't switch up to satisfy what's flowing into it. So that in itself gives you a sense of how one-sided the relationship is. There are only two rivers in the whole world that flow from south to north. Everything else is north to south, right? This is how it's set up. So you don't get to choose the way that the river flows. And that's how we have to think about in dealing with people. That's given me so much damn clarity on situations and relationships, because I have to remember everybody isn't capable of what the hell I'm capable of. Men, women, so personal relationships, professional relationships. But me forcing it damages me, not the person, because they're only going to be able to take what they can take. I'm the one that's stressing because they can't take more. That's on me. Right? So we create our own hell, our own existence, trying to get people to take us when they don't want us. And they can tell us, oh, I want a woman who this, or I want a man who this, or we go through, people say that all the time. And if a man tells a woman, oh, I really would like a woman who wears her different kinds of wigs. This woman may not have ever worn a wig before, and she's gonna go out and buy one because he's giving her a guideline of some shit to do. I want a woman who is this, or you too independent. Somebody puts these blanket little labels on how you exist, and women do it too. I want a man who opened the door for me. I want a man who surprised me with roses. You put this stuff out here, the checklist for people to come and check off to show you that that it don't mean anything, because they're just checking off a list trying to please you or appease you, and that's not how that works, right? We still find ourselves